We're trying to keep it well. Ladies and gentlemen, and of course, ladies, what's up, y'all? It's a brand new episode of the Game.Set.Match podcast, episode number 73.
Yes, sir.
I'm Joe Machado, as always, joined by Keenan Lewis. Keenan, what's up, man?
How are you doing?
What you sweating after this layout? It's done now.
Yeah, it's hot as balls where I'm at. Luckily, it's storming right now. Hopefully, it cools the fuck down. But I can't even run the fan because of audio and reasons. So sweating for the podcast. You know what I mean?
Hey, you do what you can, and bringing back Jonathan Boozer. Boozer, what's up, man?
Not much, dealing with the oppression as well with that heat. I got my air conditioning off because my air conditioning is loud as shit. So it's gonna get a little warm up in here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, real quick, heads up, your mic sounds really good this week. Your mic sounds really good this week.
Now that I got the headphones plugged in, I realize exactly how much this fucking mic picks up.
Yeah.
Like just like me tapping on my laptop.
Yeah.
It picks up.
Yep.
Now you know what I got to do when I edit it. You got no idea what's going on.
Now I have this. That's why I have this fancy schmancy arm here.
That should be your next purchase. Get that arm, bro.
I can do that. I mean, it picks it up, but not as much.
You want to hook me up with some money? I mean,
it's like $15 on
like
Amazon.
$20.
Yeah, like $15 on Amazon, bro.
You want to hook me up with some money? Come on,
let's get into our go to the week. Okay. We're going to be talking about this game a lot for probably the rest of the year. The go to the week is not quite No Man's Sky as a game. It's No Man's Sky as a package, I guess you would say, as just a box, as just something that holds a disc. There was a lot of drama going around because everyone was really excited to get their hands on No Man's Sky, which came out this past week on the 9th. And fans got the opportunity to not only play the game, but kind of push the game to its limits with the idea of, man, what if I discover my friend's planet? You know, what's the concept or idea of multiplayer? And a long time ago, Joe Murray had essentially said, the ability to see other players in the game was previously confirmed, though at the time the idea was it is incredibly unlikely that you would see, given the game's 18 quintillion planets, that you would run into another player. Unfortunately, that happened in the first day.
First, like 12 hours of the game.
Yeah, the first day. One player discovered another player's planet, shot him a message and said, hey, I'm streaming on Twitch. I just landed on your planet. You should totally come back and maybe we can meet up.
Can you come back?
You can go back to the planet. So they went back to the planet. Unfortunately, they ended up standing in pretty much the same spot, staring at the same building, but could not see each other. In more recent weeks, Murray had been more keen to stress that No Man's Sky is not a multiplayer game. But that was... they didn't explicitly state that wasn't a feature. This was also dubbed on by the reason this is the GOAT of the week, and that's because No Man's Sky limited edition boxes have a sticker on the back with their Peggy 7 rating and a warning for mild violence. But if you peel the sticker away... if you peel the sticker away, you also notice that the game has a Peggy 12 rating, a mild violence rating, and an icon signaling that the game features online play.
You played yourself. You played yourself. Hello, games.
So, the reason I consider this the GOAT of the week is because it's not a reprint. It's not hey, let's do the cover differently. It's a sticker. They put a sticker on the back of the box to cover up the fact that the game features online play.
They were like, no one will ever take the sticker off. It
There's
just won't happen.
No one's never
It
gonna
wouldn't even come off by accident. It wouldn't even get smudged off. It can't be.
Do you understand how many games I couldn't return to GameStop because I took the sticker off the box because I couldn't stand the fact that it was on there?
We were in where was I the other day? Best Buy. I went to Best Buy, upgraded my nice webcam here. That's why I look a little bit better quality. today. Went and got a new webcam. And there was a guy literally in front of me who bought No Man's Sky. And I guess he had literally walked out the door, came back in to, I don't know if he was exchanging it or I don't know what the situation was. But he was trying to return it or something or another that required him to give the game back. And the Best Buy associate was giving him a hard time because there was a little tear in like the plastic. And they were like, yeah, this looks like you opened it. And he was like, I literally just walked out the door and came back in here. And he's like, he found the associate. He's like, you were just helping me. Like, I was literally here 5 minutes ago. Tell this guy. And he's like, she was like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of here because this does not seem like it's going to end well.
All he hears is
all over No Man's Sky. This is what you've caused, No Man's Sky. It's on you.
Seriously.
Yeah, buyers were more.
Look at the images.
Yeah.
He didn't even leave.
Yeah.
If you look at the images, the sticker's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I think what's so funny is that like it says online play.
Where?
But there's no online play in this game. There are online features like renaming your planet, but Keenan, you said it last week, and I have to agree with you. If No Man's Sky is the only game that I'm playing, and you're going to tell me I'm paying PlayStation Plus for this game, and there's no online play, why?
Right.
Why? It's ridiculous.
It is. I just... It's baffling that two people... I commend the Twitch streamer who did it and said, hey, let's send a message and see if this works. It's baffling that that's a thing. Like, it to me, on the multiplayer front, and we'll talk about it a little more because we are going to talk about the game itself. But, like, I find it very hard to believe that why are we ducking this question for so long? Why not just come out and say, hey, the only online portion of it is that it's, procedurally generated and you find these planets and it's uploading to some sort of online database when you find these planets. And no, you can't play with anybody else. But it was always this, like, gray area, like, oh, well, you're never, with the chances of running into somebody are very slim. So you're saying if I run into somebody, then it becomes a multiplayer experience, is what you're telling me by those words. But lo and behold, it's not a multiplayer game at all.
At all, yeah, in the least. We're gonna get more into it. That's one half of my go to the week. I just saw this through Appy Gamer. Appy Gamer, the best place to get your gaming news.
Not sponsored.
We're thirsty.
Not sponsored.
Looking for sponsorship. Game.Set.Match podcast at gmail.com.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, just do it.
News
All
Republic,
right,
Happy Gamer,
episode.
Game.Set.Match podcast at gmail.com. Hit us up. My sub goat of the week is GameSpot and Polygon, respectively. News came out that Ken Baker, the guy who was inside R2D2, kind of the soul of R2D2, had passed away. Problem is, I don't think anyone got his age right. Today, there was an article that said Ken Baker died at the age of 81. Yesterday, from GameSpot, both articles from GameSpot. GameSpot today, Ken Baker dies, age of 81. Yesterday, Ken Baker dies at the age of 83. Yesterday, Polygon, Ken Baker dies at the age of 88. Let us confirm, Ken Baker has passed away at the age of 81.
They should have just said 80-something. Like, that's what the title should have said. Like,
this dude over here just passed away at the age of
80. He was 80-something years old.
He was...
Like,
so, come on, guys. It's R2D2. Yeah. It's art. Come on. Get it right.
First off, someone literally looked at the wiki, saw the birth and the death, and they were just like, it's got to be like 80.
It's got to be in the 80s, man.
No one's going to fact check me on this at all.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to care about that.
Yeah. So,
wrong.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Wrong.
R2D2. Get it right the first time.
I hope that person doesn't have a job anymore.
They all have jobs.
Yeah.
They all have jobs, and they're all from the same family that Boozer despises. Right?
Such a big family. Big fucking family.
Of people who just mess shit up.
Just fucking up the gaming industry.
Exactly.
My dad's still working on Last Guardian.
So let's go ahead and roll through some news this week. The big news is September 7th. September 7th is a PlayStation meeting that's scheduled for 3 p.m. at the PlayStation Theater in New York. First of all, I had no idea they had their own theater, but whatever.
And no one knew they had their own orchestra either, and they pulled that out.
Yeah, whatever. It is expected that the PS4 Neo will be announced, not at Tokyo Game Show, but at this September announcement. One of the things that did catch my attention is I'm going through all these different websites, Video Game 24/7, GameSpot, Polygon, Kotaku, all these different sites that we get our information from. And they're dubbing it something very interesting. And that is, it's believed that the PS4 Neo is to be a new, more powerful version of the PS4 with full game compatibility, something like the Xbox One S, but with more extra grunt. Do you guys know what Xbox is releasing next year? Do you have no plan? You're telling me that the PS4 Neo is supposed to be a better version of the Xbox One S? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's Sony being Sony. Like, what do you expect?
Hey.
It's Sony being Sony. They're ahead, so they're just like, you know what? We're going to do it, and fuck you. Like,
you know what Sony reminds me of? They remind me of someone that's, like, been training their whole life to win a race, and they're, like, ahead of everyone. They're, like, by a long shot, and they look back to just see how far ahead they are, and they just trip and fucking fall, and then everyone stomps on them and just go to the finish line, and then they're like, oh my god, I fucked up. That's what they're gonna do.
It's Sony being
they have
Sony.
Success, and they're just like, oh, let's look back at all the shit that we're leaving behind, and they're just gonna fuck up.
I mean, they can't. I mean, when you go back to the E3 stories, I mean, they didn't talk about it at E3 at all. They came out actually the day before their conference and was like, yeah, you know what? We're not talking about this at all. We're not going to acknowledge. He acknowledged that it was a real thing. He said, yes, we're working on a new iteration of PlayStation, but we're not going to talk about it at this conference. And Xbox played their hand and said, all right, well, one of ours leaked, so we need to come up with something. So here's our Scorpio. Here's our power box, as I like to call it. And Sony, based on all the leaks that had happened prior on the specs of the Neo and all that kind of stuff, they took a step back and was like, well, console is shit compared next.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It doesn't seem like they've gone back to the drawing board, and now they're trying to play the comparison of, oh, well, it's going to be more powerful than the Xbox One S, and that's fine. But I'm almost willing to bet like the Xbox One S is on par with like a PS4 launch edition. Yeah. So you telling me that is not really saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's really the most interesting thing, and I was like, reading kind of some of the same articles, and the thing that you got to pay attention to now with this console is it really going to come out this year with VR? Because VR is slated for October. We've known that for about 6 months.
Yeah.
If they're announcing this console in September 7th, you're telling me they're gonna turn around and release it within a month?
False.
Like, I mean, you're gonna reveal it. Like, I mean, this is not like this is not a game. This is a hardware console that you're touting as like your power console. It's more powerful than your PS4 currently, and it's supposed to be a premium console. And you're telling me you're gonna reveal it, and then a month later you're gonna release it alongside your peripheral that's supposed to be change the game. Well.
Yep.
So this is more looking like 2017 console, and then is it you wait till all 2017 and launch next to the Scorpio?
Yeah,
and that's how long you're expecting to keep people on hook for? Like it's just not things aren't adding up, and it doesn't look good for Sony. Like it just doesn't look good for Sony going forward in the way they're marketing this particular.
And there's a part of me that's wondering, like, I don't know. I sit back and I go, when we look at all the conferences and everything that we watched when it comes to games, when it comes to the console, when it comes to VR, yeah, they have some exclusive stuff, but aside from God of War, which we don't know when we're getting that,
right?
And Days Gone, which hopefully we get soon. That was kind of the highlight of the there's a reason for me to keep playing on PS4. And that to me now in retrospect, after a couple weeks and a couple months at post E3, I don't know if I left E3 wanting a PS4K. I left an E3 wanting to play PS4 because you didn't really confirm that God of War and Days Gone and those things were going to be on that console.
Sure.
I'm assuming they're going to be on that console because there's just no way that you're going to put Days Gone on a PlayStation 4. But I don't know if I left that console or if I left that conference wanting that console to begin with. When you got the head of Bethesda, I'm smack in the middle of playing Fallout 4 during that conference. And you got the head of Bethesda saying, yeah, the Xbox Scorpio is going to be legit. You didn't even have to show me anything.
Right.
And I'm already mentally sold on buying it. If I can play the games that they showed at that PlayStation showed at E3 on my PlayStation 4, I have no reason to buy a PS4K. The Xbox Scorpio didn't have to show me anything. And I'm already sold on buying that. And that's my concern, is that there's no base or foundation to establish why I would go out and buy this console, unless it's like an Xbox One S. But even Xbox has said, yeah, if you want the One S, great. That doesn't mean your Xbox One's irrelevant.
Right.
This means it's a slimmer version. And if the Neo is the same thing, I don't know if that's a good thing.
The other thing to look out for too, if they're touting this as a premium console, 4K. Right now, consoles are teetering the 350 line. They've dropped significantly. They can get a year one Xbox, year one PS4 for 350 essentially. You can get it for a little bit more expensive with bundles and things that they have. But 350. My full expectation is if this is a 4K console, it's not going to release at $400. It's got to be at least a $500 box. My opinion. There's nothing that says that. There's no evidence that says that, but in my opinion, has to be at least a $500 box. So now the question becomes just what you're saying is, if they make that decision and say, all right, well, your God of Wars and your Days Gone are now 4K ones, and you're going to get a significant downgrade when you're playing on your regular PS4. So you're asking people within, again, a 5-year turnaround, you paid roughly $450 for the initial release, and then 5 years later you're asking someone to spend $500 on their console with the shitty trade up programs that are out there. You'll get $200 max for it. That's not even half the cost of the console. And then now you're splitting your player base and you're forcing people okay, well, now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
How long has Xbox One been out?
Which one? The S or
the one? Just the regular.
The regular one has been out since 2014. I believe. I can double
2
check.
years. I'm gonna get $100 for this bitch. God damn it. That's depressing as shit. I'm only gonna get $100 trade-in value.
It's like GameStop. Lucky if they give you that.
That's what it said.
They give you some food stamps for it.
Oh.
That's about it.
Make sure to take your HDMI cable
in my pocket.
Yeah, make sure to take your HDMI cable.
God damn it.
I'll give you this pack of gum I got. I'm like, okay, thanks a lot. $100 and a pack of gum.
Oh, I lied. Sorry, November 22nd, 2013.
2013.
So we're moving in on a 3-year anniversary. We made it to the 3rd year yet.
And they're already talking about next year you're going to get
next year you're getting a
power box.
Scorpio.
And that thing's going to be expensive.
What if PlayStation's next system other than the Neo was like Sub-Zero and we got like a score? That'd be great.
Yeah. And this also leads me to believe, if they're comparing the 4K to Xbox One S, is there something else?
That'd be so stupid.
So here's my thing. I think console companies are playing with gamers' emotions, and it's enough that you've won over a large majority of the community with the Scorpio, right? If the Scorpio comes out and you're telling me 3 years after this power box is out, you're going to introduce another console?
Here's the Scorpio 2. Yeah.
Here's the Prey
people are gonna no, people are gonna lose it.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Yeah. They will go from, you know what, the Scorpio might be you can miss me with that.
Yeah.
You announce another console 3 years after the Scorpio, they're gonna go, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
If you think I'm buy that shit, you're crazy. Nonetheless, PlayStation, good luck in going into this conference. I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. Only other big piece of news is that we're finally getting into what I like to call pushback season. I love pushback season, where all of these games that spent all of this money and all of this time promoting their game and getting players excited are now going to drop the, hey, guess what?
Coming out next year.
It's coming out later. The first pushback of the season, not too bad. Final Fantasy 15 has been pushed back from September 30th to November 29th, I think is what it is.
Good luck. I mean, you're going to release Black Friday. Like, the week of Black Friday is when you're releasing. You already have heavy hitters like Call of Duty, Titanfall 2. What else? Like, you have all these heavy hitters that come out in November, like, and you didn't have it last time we saw it. Wasn't the best thing that we saw.
Your demo player couldn't play the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let's just be flat.
He was a cousin of that family. He was a younger cousin of that fucking family.
Like, it didn't look
I'm gonna
good.
make I'm gonna make a family tree.
It was probably one of the worst demos I had seen up to this point.
Yeah. So either they're gonna have to show something to get people excited for it again, but if that's the taste you're leaving people's mouth, and then you're moving it back, which is also not good, and then you're coming out like the Tuesday before Black Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, about that.
Have fun with that.
That's now, mind you, what we're waiting for. This is what we're waiting for. Is we are desperately waiting for the obvious pushback. The Last Guardian. They have been putting screenshots and trailers out. I still am standing by this idea that it will be pushed back one more time.
Oh yeah.
It's got. There's no way. I don't know if I agree with Keenan that it's going to be next year, but it's
that would be some shit.
Like, when is it slated for now? October?
It's slated for October 21st.
Where else is it gonna go?
I think.
Where else is it gonna go other than next year?
Yeah, where else would it go?
December.
Either you're gonna
29th?
do November with Final Fantasy, and it's gonna sit on the shelves Black Friday again. December is a horrible month to release games. Just historically, games that release in December don't do well.
Ironically.
Yeah, and then we're in 2017. If it gets pushed back, which I firmly believe that it will be,
Yeah.
it has to be 2000.
The game that I thought was going to get pushed back, then turned out is not getting pushed back, is Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. That went gold this past week, which doesn't really mean much of anything. It just means that, hey, guess what? We're not working on the main shit anymore.
Now we're doing a day one patch.
Yeah, now we're gonna work on this day one. Don't even get me started on day one patches. I'm done. I'm done with this shit. But yeah, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, the sequel to Human Revolution, which I was a big fan of, which is now backwards compatible if you're on Xbox 360, or I'm sorry, Xbox One. You can download it and purchase it on your Xbox One. I was a big fan of it. That essentially means it is now available, or it's going to be available. I'm sorry, August 23rd. You can pick that up. So that's pretty much it for news. I didn't know if there was anything else that hit the newswire that you guys saw.
The one that I saw, which I was pretty interesting. So the Xbox One S has been out for 2 weeks. The 2 terabyte model has been out for 2 weeks. The 1 terabyte and the 500 gigabyte come out on the 23rd. So if you're holding out for that, 23rd, that's when it's coming out, right alongside.
Wait, they released their 2 terabyte console like 2 weeks before.
Yes, which I thought was weird as well. But the story. But now the story makes sense.
What is that? The Call of Duty Day 000 patch or whatever that is?
But now the story I heard makes sense as to why that happened. So, rumor has it that the Xbox One S has been selling out of places. Hence, Xbox was the top-selling console in July.
Last month, yeah.
So, congratulations to Microsoft. You won a month. The first month in 2016 that you won. Only took you 7 to get there. So, but they have been selling out, and the retailers are saying they're not going to be restocking them. The 2 terabyte models, that is. So when people delved into it and asked why, they asked Microsoft. Microsoft said, yeah, we're not manufacturing them anymore. So it was like a special. They didn't market it this way, but it's like a special edition console. So the only other ways that you can get this 2 terabyte console is via your bundle. So your Gears of War bundle that they're going to be coming out with. I'm sure they're going to be doing a Halo one whenever they get a chance to for the holiday season. I'm sure it's going to be bundled all over the place during the holiday season. But that is going to be the only way. Other than if you already have it, or if a store still has stock of it, that's the only way you're going to be able to get the 2 terabyte model.
Damn, that was some sly shit.
Yeah. Very.
I didn't even know that, and I'm glad I pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
put that money down.
And that to me, that's shocking because I feel like it was a good bargain for the cost that it was. I'm a huge proponent of why I don't know why people are still making 500 gigabyte consoles. Like I don't know why that's an option.
I turn on my Xbox One and see that 500 gig, and I just like, wait, I don't even know if I have a 500 gig. That's the lowest it goes, right?
That's the only one they have for the standard.
But for the Xbox One.
Yeah, for the Xbox One. That's the only one that they have.
It just looks garbage.
Yeah, and the thing is, they take up 100 gigabytes of system space. That's the operating system. And then if you play, like The Witcher, Call of Duty, what else? Overwatch, Destiny. Those 4 games alone, you probably filled up your whole console, right?
Yeah,
with all the DLCs and stuff that you like. To me, it's baffling. Like they have to know the sizes are getting bigger, so it's confusing as to why they make a 2 terabyte console this kind of special edition and make it really limited. If anything, I think they should market it as such and say, listen, you get a 2 terabyte, I can put all my games. You could put Witcher, you could put all those games on there and still have more than enough space to put whatever else that you want. On there.
All right.
So, but that's the only other news that I saw.
All right, so
this week.
There's your newsreel for the week. Obviously, if anything else popped up, feel free to add it to the chat so we can go ahead and address a couple of them at the end of the show. This, of course, brings us to the topic we've already kind of talked about, and that's No Man's Sky. Ooh. No Man's Sky has officially come out.
Sorry. Wow. Just already fell asleep.
No Man's Sky has officially come out to the chagrin of somebody here. I wanted to read 3 different reviews, 3 different perspectives across 3 different scales, because reading one review of this game, for those of you who are watching, if you're on the fence about buying it, reading one review of this game is not going to be enough. This is a weird game. It is not like your Call of Duty where you either know you're getting it or it's going to be the same as last year and you're not. It is a weird game. So I wanted to go through 3 different companies, 3 different media outlets, and their reviews of the game. Just one line, one excerpt of their review. Games Beat. This was their synopsis of this review. Its scale and sense of isolation is special. The procedural nature imbues everything in the game with a sense of life that other better crafted games can't match. And it nails the emergent storytelling that I want from a survival game. They gave it an 80.
Out of 100.
Out of 100.
Okay.
1,000? Sorry.
God damn it.
I'm rolling on this one. God damn.
Our
One of our favorite companies to read off of, GameSpot, even though they can't get Ken Baker's death right.
80-something. That'd be funny if that was the same rating they gave the game. 80-something.
80-ish.
Yeah.
80-something.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is immediately a massive game with impressive, seamless transitions from ground to space, and it will entertain your inner collector for a while. The more you get to know it, the more you recognize its faults, and it's easy to fall so deep into the act of exploring and trading that your focus narrows to those aspects alone. If, however, you consider everything it has to offer and listen to what Atlas has to say, No Man's Sky becomes more than a collection of slightly different worlds in a seemingly never-ending galaxy. It becomes an examination of the meaning of life in a way that's more valuable than all of the gold or starships in its virtual galaxy. They gave it a 70 out of 100. And last but not least, we're gonna go to Polygon, our third usual outlet that we pull from. These powerful universe creation algorithms have been grafted onto a game that is beyond its initial hours, so light on imagination. No Man's Sky offers an incredible, impossible universe, but there's little to do within it. And they gave it a 60 out of 100. If you go to Metacritic, the average Metacritic score is 70. But that's not the score that I care about. The average Metacritic score out of 10 on users is a 4.9. Less than half.
I don't know. I can't, like I don't own the game, so I'm not gonna like say I've played any of it.
I believe I'm the only one out of the three of us that owns the game. Is that correct?
You bought it?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Dedication. I'm
Yeah.
gonna plug it dedication.
So I've watched people stream it. Like I've watched a lot of streamers like stream it, and it's an exploration game. What I can see, you're getting materials and you're gathering material, help you build better ships to further, build better ships. You get better fuel to go longer into the galaxy, yada yada yada, to get to the center of the. And I get like if that's your thing. This is to me a very niche game. Like if that's your thing, I could see how you could waste hours upon hours upon hours upon hours playing it. But I just don't see how after the first planet I would be like shocked by anything. Like sure, if we might come across a different looking creature, but how many times is that going to happen before I go, all right, I've seen this creature? I play Fallout and I put an immense amount of time into Fallout, but even after a certain point there, you get to the point like, okay, same shit's about to happen. You're gonna talk to me. You need help with something. I'm gonna go fight some crazy ass looking monster, and then we're gonna come back and it's the kind of same thing. So it's like, at least there's like dialogue and there's a story to run the game, like that pushes the game forward or holds it back or do whatever. There's nothing. Like it doesn't explain to you, and you could correct me, Joe, if I'm wrong. You just wake up on a planet. Doesn't tell you why you're there. Doesn't tell you where the planet, what the planet is. It doesn't give you anything. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to wake up here. And then you just go. And it gives you no direction whatsoever. So, I mean, I can see why people... The way they touted this game and they marketed it, it seemed like it was going to be the next big thing. Like, oh, No Man's Sky is going to be the next big thing for PS. And sure, like I said, it's a very niche game, and you can't market it that way to your general consumer. Because the general consumer is going to get that, and they're going to be bored within the first 5 hours of the game.
I don't think that made a difference because okay, so I'm the only one out of the three of us that has played it. I'm going to tackle the one thing about this game that every reviewer has given it credit for, and that is the scope of it. That is 18 quintillion planets. It is massive, right? That's the gimmick of this game. When you buy a large TV, they say there are millions of pixels in it.
Sure.
Millions of them are in this TV. Millions upon millions that paint this picture of what you have. When you put it on your wall, it only takes up 4 feet. That's No Man's Sky, period.
That's a really good...
Technically speaking, there are 18 quintillion planets. So many that you won't even be able to visit them all. But by the third hour, I really didn't give a shit. By the third hour, I had visited 6 of them.
How different were they?
So let me... so, in a way, they were different. But Polygon's review is about as accurate of this game as it gets. My issue with this game is, one, I don't think it's a bad game. For the team that built it, for what it appeals to, it's a game. Fine. One, I don't think it's a $60 game. That's, I'll tell you right now, I paid $60 for it. This is nowhere close to a $60 game. But the issue that I have with the game is, for you establishing this universe and then shoving entities and species of sentient people and, hey, trade with this person, trade with this person. And there are space stations in space. And there are pirates and spaceships and all that stuff. every planet I've gone to, there's no city, there's no nothing. It's a bunch of solo outposts where I get upgrades for and blueprints for my drill, for my weapon, for my ship, or for my suit. Period. I think when you really push the idea of this game is massive, it's huge, it's ridiculous. At the end of the day, it isn't really. It's not. You know, it just is not.
Yeah.
I wish people would look at it that way. I wish people would look at No Man's Sky for what it actually is and not what it could be. You don't review a game or you don't experience a game based on what it could be. You base it on what your experience actually is. You know, I can't give the game credit for having 18 quintillion planets that I may never visit because I visited 20 of them.
And you read my mind. I was literally just about to say, like, I don't know that I can get on board. The part of the issue that I had, because I teetered when you were talking about it earlier, when we spoke earlier in the week. It like when I saw it, I was like, all right, you know what? It's kind of piqued my interest. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I can't spend $60 on a game. Like I spend $60 on games that I don't play.
Yeah.
Division. Well, I spent $60 on it, and I
disappointed.
Yeah, I was disappointed in it, and I literally paid. I bought the season pass, and I haven't played a bit of that DLC. So, like, I'm not saying I'm not, you know, I'm really like frugal with my money. I'll spend money and I'll waste it. I'm willing to admit that. But I can't spend $60 on something that you're touting, saying, here's this vast world, and I'm only going to see 1% of that world.
Yeah.
That's where I had the issue. It's like The Witcher. Witcher says, oh, here's this vast world, but I can go to everywhere in The Witcher.
Yeah.
And I can eventually touch it at some point, do a side mission here and there, do something. At some point, if I play enough time, I'm going to touch every spot in the world. In this game, it does not seem like that's possible.
You know what's funny? It's kind of like I love a good steak. But it's like if someone came up to me and was like, listen, you're going to sit down, and you're going to get every kind of steak that has ever been made, every type of style, every cut, every season. You have unlimited steaks right now. We're going to cook it all for you. You know, buy that, like, third, fourth, fifth steak, like, no matter how delicious they are or how different they taste.
You're done.
I'm done. Like, my stomach's going to be like, you're going to eat one more and you're going to die. Like, yeah. So, like, you're just going to be like, listen, hold up. I know you got more for me. I'm gonna have to go home. And that's kind of the things. Like, they're gonna be different planets. They're not gonna be crazy different. They might be really cool, but at one point you're just gonna get.
It's funny because I was thinking about our review system. I was thinking about the way that we should look at games, and I was thinking out of a scale of 1 to 10, form and function, how the game plays and how the game looks. Should make up, you know, you split it in half, 2.5 and 2.5. Should make up about 5 points out of a 10-point thing. But the game's got to be fun. That's got to make up the majority of it.
Sure.
Period. And first, I'll give the game credit. First time I broke that atmosphere, clutch as hell. Clutch as hell. Just breaking through, going right into space. Awesome.
Have you encountered any battles or anything like that? I keep seeing all these pictures of like all these like laser fights. Like these space fights. I keep seeing pictures of it, but does it happen?
Yes, it does. The game is not very... It's not difficult in that way. The space fights in and of themselves, like you have a blaster from day one. But ultimately, the game is always shoving something in your face. Oh, you landed on this planet and it's got irradiated oxygen, so your health is just going to gradually go down. Well, let me panic and try to craft something to play that. I'm always reacting to stuff, and that's good for some games, but eventually in Dark Souls you end up becoming a character where you feel confident to fend for yourself. It's only good for so long that I don't know what to expect. That's a great feeling in the first couple of hours of a game. But I've played the game right now. I'm hitting hour 17. After 17 hours, that's it. I'm done. I can only craft the same over and over and over again just to get further down the rabbit hole of whatever it is. Now, that doesn't mean this game can't be enjoyable. This idea of, you know, the Space Odyssey. I wake up and I'm about to go explore the universe. But like I said, the universe is not 18 quintillion planets. It's however many planets it takes you to get to the center.
Right.
That could be 10,
True.
It could be 20, it could be 30. So I can't give a game credit for having 18 quintillion if 17 quintillion 990 whatever follows after that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see.
Yeah,
It's
and
not going to see it.
and that's the tough thing with like an odyssey, like a journey, is like it's only as fun as the events that happen.
Yeah.
And if most of this journey is just collecting materials and crafting and then venturing to the next planet, that's not really a journey. Like it's not really like an odyssey per se, because there's no like major events happening. Like that's why people fall in love with things like, you know, Star Trek, because it's all about exploring the mass universe, but the crazy planets and species that they run into along the way. It's always about that journey, that interaction with things that makes that massive universe seem so interesting. And when you just kind of see these random, you know, species and plant life, and you're just collecting materials and, you know, shooting your blaster once in a while, and you're not really interacting with anything, it can get boring, because the whole thing that intrigues us is interaction. Sure. That's why, you know, there's movies about people being alone, and they're so crazy, because like no one wants to be alone.
I said it this past week. We've trashed this game religiously. Destiny. We trash it all the time. You can give me 18 quintillion planets and barely anything to do, and it's not very fun. Or you can flip it the other way and give me 6 planets that I'm going to do the same shit over and over and over again. And if Destiny didn't give me a load screen, but gave me the ability to fly from planet to planet for my missions, it would be the best thing ever.
Yeah, it would.
Period.
Done.
Yeah.
You could give me less to do. Yeah. Just have me repeat the same shit over and over and over again, which is what Destiny does.
Yeah.
And it would be the best game.
Especially if I can like just do some crazy spins and shit and just fuck around with the shit. Like,
I don't even need to fight anybody.
Let me go into hyperspace real quick.
Have fun. Go like flying off into space.
Sure, yeah.
Mars fly by. At the end of the day, there are going to be people who love this game. Great. I'm glad. I'm glad you spent $60 on it.
So while you were talking, I powered on my PS4 for the first time in a while, and I looked at the trophies on No Man's Sky. And a lot of them are like attain, so one of them is attain naturalist status in planet zoology.
Sure.
Attain trailblazer, yada, yada, yada. Now, like, and you might be able to speak to this a little bit better.
Sure.
So I posed the question, like, does it seem possible, like, these trophies are achievable within the game that they've given you? I feel like some of these just seem unattainable, because it's like, if you're saying you're touting 18 quintillion, what is the node that you have to get to this? Like, so one says attain pioneer status in space exploration. What is that? If I beat the game in 20 hours and I hit, you know what? Say, let's make it 25 planets. And I beat the game, how do I then achieve, like, can I continue after? Is it, you know, what's the premise to me to get that trophy if you're like chasing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the weird part about that is that as you do things, the game gives you these like, hey, you've hit I'm trying to think of the best way to word it, but it's like passive titles that you've achieved something, like naturalist or pioneer. Yeah. And it's, you've discovered this many things. So, like, for example, you've interacted with 10 aliens. This is what you've unlocked. Okay. You have learned 20 words in a language. This is what you've unlocked. The honest answer is I don't know. If I assume it's attainable, but I think the tough part with the trophies, if it says, hey, gain pioneer status, and that's 50 planets, you are 17 quintillion planets short of what you're projecting.
Sure, yeah.
my standard is pretty damn low, you know. So I wish that this was a game that I could really get into. I really do.
Did we want 18 quintillion? Did anyone really want?
No, I don't.
Did anyone want that many options?
I get the idea of like, hey, it's procedurally generated, but back to my original point about the cities thing. Is there going to be a moment where the species and the entities and the sentient beings that you're introducing me to, where do they come from? Yeah, you can give me some backstory through these stones and like ruins and things like that. You can give me some backstory for their species, but like, where do they come from? Do they have a home planet? Like, and how do I find that home planet? And if I don't, like, the idea of procedural generation means that everything is going to uniquely look different, you know? And it does to a certain extent. Guess what? The Division did procedural generation for their Underground DLC. All that subway shit looks exactly the same. I hate to break it to you. So I went from a planet where the ground was like purple and its underground caves were like a reddish yellow and a bunch of different colors. And then I left and then I landed on a planet that was like a brownish green and it had poison air and all this stuff. And then I went to another planet that was like 80% water. And just a bunch of archipelagos and land floating and like that was it. And there were a bunch of stuff underwater. But my other issue with this game is the fact that there's no description for what you're doing. I landed on a planet where there's 80% water, but the game does not tell me that I can go into water, that my exosuit can handle going into water, or I haven't found the blueprint for it. The reason I have an issue with that is because the game plays like Dark Souls. If you die, you lose all of the resources you had in your exosuit. So you're telling me you want me to explore, but the consequence is losing all of this work that I've done along the way. And it's mixed signals. Is what it is. I'm on a date with mixed signals, and I'm not feeling it.
It seems like it spawns questions that the game itself can't answer. Yep. It's that constant question. Like we talked about it with with Destiny. We talked about it with Division. We talked about it with other games. Like why? Like why are we doing this? Like why are we here? And it's like you find this alien. Why are they here? And then there's just no answer to it.
I finally played it. Yeah. And I still don't have the answer to my question of why am I doing this? Yeah. Why? Is it to survive, to explore? Like those are all the base answers that I can learn.
You found out what happens at the center of the universe? Like
I don't give a shit.
Like what the game does?
I don't care what happens at the center of the universe.
I don't think that has been leaked. At least not yet. I mean, I'm sure if you search hard for it, somebody's done it.
Didn't the one guy do it? Didn't the guy that paid $1,500 for it?
So here's the funny thing. I was get ready to bring this up. So this is kind of a pretty good segue. Is they before they launched the game, they wiped it that Sunday night. They wiped it Monday, the day before the launch. So it cleared all. If he had found anything, it wiped all that data clean. Okay. But somehow there are still like major exploits in the game.
Oh, there are people beating this game in less than 20 hours.
So like apparently there's like rare resources if you get them. You can farm them a lot to obviously gain more fuel, get better ships, you go longer, you go deeper into the galaxy, which is like shortening the game length by a lot because you're just basically exploiting this resource and it's allowing you to reach the center of the universe quicker. And that's baffling to me because isn't that what the day one patch was supposed to fix? And it's not fixed. Like
no, it's worse.
Yeah, it's worse.
Or it seems like it's worse because now more people are playing.
Right, and now there's numerous problems on the PC version, which released 4 days after the console version. So
I got it. 18 quintillion ways to glitch the system to exploit the system.
So it's like mark that another loss for the PC community this year for a game that people can't get. They can't. You get excited for and you're building all this hype about it, and it comes out and it doesn't work.
I think at the end of the day, there is, like I said, this game is it's a niche game. It's a niche game. It fits a very specific group of people to really enjoy it. But $60 is an expensive. It's $60 is an expensive niche product. So
how long do you think before they bring down the price? Like honest question.
I'll tell you right now, it'll
Tomorrow.
be before the holiday. It'll be before Black Friday. That's my expectation is by October, it'll go down. It'll go down to I guarantee you head on over to the PlayStation Digital Store and they'll discount it $30 for like a week. And it's like Battleborn. Once you start discounting it, big issues, big problems. So, nonetheless,
and I'll go on record and say I'm going to be wrong. I made a prediction that I didn't think it was going to chart for the month. This game for the entire week on Twitch averaged over 400,000 people watching it every single. And there's a lot of people that have it. And I think I get why 400,000 people are watching it, because it's like, all right, why you want to see it? It's it's a car accident that's waiting to happen and you can't look away. Like you're seeing it and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna look away. Yeah. And so people are gonna watch it, but a lot of people bought it.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people. So I mean, it will chart this month. I don't know. I don't think it'll be the top game necessarily, because you have like Madden and other games coming out. But it will chart.
Yeah. So there you have it with No Man's Sky. That's out of the way. But it's time to dive into something. I've really been excited to talk about this. I tried to talk about it last week and Keenan shut me down. And that is we don't get the opportunity to really talk and review something. Admittedly, and this is in a realm of transparency for our show, we tried to do it with The Division and it just didn't work. Just didn't pan out the way we wanted it because the game wasn't very good. But now we get the opportunity to really latch ourselves to something that is passionate for all three of us, and it combines a multitude of different things. It combines games, and it combines comics. It's time to talk about episode 1 of Batman, the Telltale series. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting a long time for this, and we actually get the chance to talk about it. So, a couple weeks, what was it, a couple weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Batman the Telltale series, episode 1, Reign of Shadows, I believe is what it was called. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Reign of, well, that's what we'll call it. Reign of Shadows was released to the public. Everyone got the chance to play episode 1. Just very generic. Boozer, did you get the chance to play this yet?
I didn't yet, no.
Okay, all right. So guess what?
Not being spoiled or anything.
Fuck ton of spoils, but you need to. It's only. I know you need people to lend you money. $24 will get you all 5 episodes. Right.
Yeah. Up a little bit.
Keenan, initial thoughts. Episode 1, Batman Telltale.
I'll try to keep it. I won't spoil a whole lot. Just kind of give my general overview. I enjoyed it. It's my first. I've watched other Telltale games. My wife did Wolf Among Us. I watched a bit of that. And so this is like my first playing experience with Telltale. Actually, I lied. I played a little bit of The Walking Dead. Never really finished it. But
yeah.
So I've the first full complete episode that I've completed of a Telltale game. So I enjoyed the game, like the gameplay mechanic of it. It was a good time. The story is where it kind of got confusing. The issue, like the one thing I did like about it is, I was talking to one of my friends about it, is the amount of it's not for a Batman game. You play a lot as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And I enjoy that portion of it. It's not just, hey, you're this superhero and you have these abnormal powers. It gives it a sort of a human element to the game. And I love that the way Telltale kind of spun it. Now, on that same note, though, I think they hooked me in for the next couple episodes, and I'm excited for episode 2 to come out. I think it's supposed to come out next month in September. But the story has it's just like really confusing, because like when you're talking to, characters, whether you're talking to Catwoman, who makes an appearance, you're talking to Falcone, who is the villain in this particular kind of storytelling thing, you never know, like people, like they play it that, okay, people know that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but you don't know, like when it says, oh, this person will remember that, you don't know, are they remembering him as Bruce Wayne making this action or Batman making this action? And that's where it kind of makes this like kind of gray area of, okay, who are you remembering this as, and who is it gonna affect down the road? Like, is it gonna affect Batman and his actions down the road, or is it gonna affect like his relationships with like just human beings in general? Sure. So I think that's where the kind of gray area is. But human
beings
for the
just human beings
for the like for what it was, it was definitely an enjoyable experience. I would definitely recommend. If you're a Batman fan and you read the comics and you're Batman, definitely go. Even if you're into Telltale games, it's typical Telltale. They're knocking it out of the park yet again.
I'm gonna try really hard to not spoil anything.
Sure.
If I do, let me put it out there ahead of time. My bad. I played Wolf Among Us and really, really loved Telltale, and I'd never really been into The Walking Dead. I was on and off with the show, and I had played Walking Dead Season 2 and enjoyed it a little bit, like to an extent. I thought it was okay. But all the Telltale games that I had loved, were not the typical games. Like I was a fan of Poker Night. Like Poker Night 2 was one of my favorite games. Not even Telltale related, but it was one of my favorite games. And so starting playing this and being a big comic guy and being a big Batman guy, I really enjoyed this first episode. I agree. I love the idea of going in as Bruce Wayne. Yeah. There was this weird tension that I didn't think I'd feel with Batman not wearing the cowl. Because you think, oh man, Batman, he's in his Batman suit, he's going to thrust himself into danger, and that's where I'm going to feel the excitement. But the excitement was like when I'm surrounded by these people who I agree, like, I really hope they don't know I'm Batman.
Right.
I really hope no one's figured out I'm Batman. So I'm like acting out, trying to make sure I don't slip up and like give out my identity or something. There's a scene where someone sees something on Bruce Wayne's kind of on his body, and like you have to like answer really quickly to not raise any suspicion. So I like that tension that's there. I also if I had any real gripe with it was I didn't think it was very. I guess this is just my thing with Telltale, and maybe I'm just picky. I didn't think it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Like the combat sequences, I feel like I'm playing.
They never really are.
Yeah, but I'm playing through The Wolf Among Us now, and I'm playing through. I just finished episode 1, or replaying it because now I have it on Xbox One, so I want to get the achievements for it. And so I'm playing episode 1 where Bigby is fighting in the bar, right?
I remember that scene.
And I feel like if I missed one of them, there was a consequence that altered the fight in some way. I don't know if I'm just a better gamer than I was when The Wolf Among Us first came out. I don't know, but I didn't feel like it was very difficult, and I don't know what you can do with that.
No, there's definitely a difference. I played Wolf Among Us, like I said, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I started it, and I know the scene the scene you're talking about with that bar fight, and I missed button combinations in there, and I was like, oh shit, and you're like, all right, well now you have to try to recover. And Batman, I think I missed in the whole thing. There was like 1 or 2 that I missed, but it didn't seem like it really hurt me. It's like, oh, I hit it. I was like so trying to be on top of it when the buttons pop up. Sure. Like, oh shit, I gotta press B. Okay, I'm gonna press B. But it's like I missed a couple, and it didn't seem like it affected it. It just did what it acted like I had pressed B, and it just played it out. And it's just like, like it's like what? Like,
hey, good job, man.
Like, did I look at it and you just gave it to me?
I don't know. You're Batman. Like, that's the trick.
It would be great.
Really,
I got so much 2 cents in, even though I didn't play. I would love it if, because you see it in How It Should Have Ended videos and stuff like that, where the funny joke about Batman is just, I'm Batman. Like, it's just obviously like that's the answer for everything. I wish there was just like they would slip in moments where you could accidentally select Bruce Wayne to just sit there and go, I'm Batman, and then just be like, fuck, shit, I just told everyone I'm Batman. Like, I think that would be kind of funny to just slip that in there as an accidental, like, response. And, like, the player would be like, oh, I can say this now? Say it. And then they're like, you're fucking Batman. And then your whole shit's fucked up. Like, I think that'd be a funny thing to like slide it, in low-key.
Yeah, it's weird because I'll say this: the one thing that I will give the game credit for, it's tinkering with the lore. It's tinkering with what fans are used to when it comes to Batman games. This isn't really a spoiler, it's just a description of a character. Oswald Cobblepot is not short.
Yeah.
He's very much like his character on the TV show Gotham. So,
which, by the way, I really love. I love that iteration of
yeah.
Oswald
So
Cobblepot.
like I can get down with that idea. They're tweaking with the lore in more ways than one. There's a big centerpiece of the plot is a big change in the story of just the Wayne kind of lineage. But so I'm a big fan of what they did there. But yeah, I'm invested in the rest of the series. I think the more you tweak that lore, though, if you tweak it too far, fans are gonna go, is this still a, yeah, they have Batman characters, and it feels like a Batman game, but is it a Batman game? If you tweak it a little too far. So
That's a tough one, and I really actually I like when people try to do things differently. Like I said, the Oswald Cobblepot in the
TV show.
In the TV show, I absolutely love that version of him. I think they did that great, and honestly, I would love to see that played around with in the comics. And a lot of times they do that. Like for instance, the CW's Arrow, John Diggle has been introduced into the comics now, and he was an original character. So they do a good job sometimes. Obviously, they do bad with, like, example, Fish Mooney. Like, I don't know if anyone in the world. I mean, I'm sorry, Jada, but like, I don't think anyone likes Fish Mooney.
She's just a gangster. That was it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty universal. And like, sometimes you do a bad job, introducing new characters or changing characters up. But sometimes you do a great job, and I think I'm okay with them trying to tinker with things like that, because sometimes that ends up, giving us, newer things that we might not have gotten before, and we get to see them in other mediums.
I will say this, Keenan, were you hyped as hell when Carmine Falcone spoke and you figured out it was Sully?
Yeah.
I was hyped as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, damn. Okay. But yeah, so episode 1, Rain of Shadows, highly recommended from us here at the Game.Set.Match podcast. Big fan of what they're doing so far. I do want to give a shout out. I know I've mentioned it a couple times. I've gotten the chance to get to know her on social media. Emily Garrison, congratulations to you and your team for episode 1. Keep it up. We love what you guys are doing over at Telltale Games. No sponsor. But we really appreciate no sponsor. No sponsor. But we really love what you guys are doing. So congratulations and good luck for the rest of the series. So I figured we'd end on this note. Let's take a look at what's coming out for the rest of the month.
Sure. Or this coming week, I guess.
Or this coming week. Let's break it down like that. Let's not get too far.
Yeah, so this week, the only big games really coming out this week. I'm not going to read every single thing off here. But Tuesday, you got Bound for PS4. You have Grow Up coming out on PS4, Xbox One. And Episode 4 for Hitman. Then some other games. Looks like just PS4 things. Battleship. Yes, a Battleship game for PS4 is coming out this week on Tuesday. I don't have the descriptions. I would go look it up if you're interested in these things. The Wii U has a game coming out on Thursday. Poncho. Don't know, know what that is. And then Friday you have on 3DS Metroid Prime Federation Force. This year's F1 game, F1 2016, coming out for PS4, Xbox One on Friday.
I thought you were about to say for 3DS. I was like,
no.
What? Yo.
No, just PS4, Xbox One, and those are your games this week. I know off the top of my head on the 23rd you get Madden.
Yep.
I just saw it before, but we'll talk about that next week as well. So
there's a couple of things coming out on the 23rd next week. So that's pretty much it for us. Anything you guys have to close us out on?
I'm gonna plug myself. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitch.tv.
We were gonna get to that.
Yeah, that was a given.
Hey, I take it where I can get it.
This is our show. I mean, we're gonna do that. He's acting like we gonna just cut it off right now.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
I'm gonna take it where I can get it. But you can follow me on Twitch. I stream. My schedule will be changing slightly due to football season coming up. I'm a huge football fan, so I'll be watching that. And I think, are we gonna talk about changes, Joe?
Do we want to put that out there?
Yeah, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it. So, and Boozer, we'll talk to you more about this afterwards. It's gonna be a shocker to you.
It's gonna be a little bit of a blindsider, but
so let me not promote myself here. Let's talk about the podcast and the things going on.
We'll wait till the end.
Let's reel it back a little bit. So the podcast, you're gonna see a couple changes with it, and besides the layout, this should be our hopefully layout going forward. There might be minor changes here and there. Let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, you can make changes and all. But this was what it would be looking like going forward. But with football, and when we started this podcast, we're sports fans and gaming fans alike. With football on Sunday, we're competing with something that we honestly can never really win with. So we're going to be moving days that we're streaming the podcast. We're going to be streaming. With that being said, it's going to change the upload day as well on iTunes if you're listening on iTunes. So for the rest of August, we're going to remain on Sundays. Starting September 6th, I believe, is the first day we said we're going to do it, which is Tuesday. We're going to be live streaming here, twitch.tv/GSM_podcast. You'll be live streaming Tuesdays at a time to be determined. So be sure to check us out on Twitter, and all our social media is there on the side over here. And you'll see the updates there, so you'll know when we're going live and when we have a stable time there. With that being said, since we're now going to be streaming it on Tuesdays, we're going to be uploading to iTunes on Thursdays. Should still be the same time, Thursdays at 10 a.m. So you'll still be getting it there as well. And starting this week, you will be getting these on YouTube as well. So if you missed the live stream and you want to see the video version, you can go over to YouTube, search the GSM podcast, and 12 o'clock on Fridays, these will be uploaded in its entirety. And you can go back and watch it as a VDoc.
Look at that.
So we have a couple changes coming. There's multitudes of ways you can catch the podcast. So be sure to check us out on social medias. Check us out on Twitch, Twitter, iTunes, YouTube. And if you have any questions, if you want us to cover something, you can always email us at Game.Set.Match@gmail.com. You can send, tell us how we're doing, send us topics we can cover, questions that you may have, anything of that nature.
That's not even like...
rate us on iTunes as well.
Yeah.
Yes, you can rate us on iTunes.
Kind.
Yes. Please let us know how we're doing. We want to know. We
want to know. Unlike a lot of people who just want to know. We want to know. We've been teasing this. That's not even the big news.
Yeah, that's not even the big news.
That's not even the...
The big news coming. The big news coming.
Big news is coming. But... Again, we'll set that to the side. I do want to give this update. Date still stands. Website, gsmpodcast.com. We'll be back up and running by the end of the month. So end of August, you guys are gonna have another location you can get to.
Yeah, so September is going to be a big month for us. A lot of changes going on. So be sure, like I said, follow us to know when things are happening and things are changing, and so you'll stay in touch. With that being said, you can also check me out now on twitch.tv/KJLewis25. So with that being said, my schedule will be changing as well. Just follow me on Twitter, KeenyBikini25 for the E's and threes. Follow me there to know when I'm going live. That's probably the best place, because I usually post right before I'm about to go live. I'm going to be a little bit more active on the social media, so you should have more clarification about when I'm streaming, what I'm streaming, and you can check us out there. And you'll see updates to the podcast too, and things of that nature.
It's my turn. Can I go?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
As always, you can catch me at Twitter. That's at Diamond Jab. I am also going to be kind of moderating or controlling the social media for GSM Podcast. All the social media stuff you see down the side for Twitch, for Twitter, for Facebook, all that stuff. My streaming schedule, I will be on Diamond Jab. I believe I've set Mondays, I think like Monday, Wednesday, something else. I can't remember. But I will also be streaming 3 days during the week. And then I know we're considering putting something together like a streaming thing for the weekend. Sure. But we'll update you guys on that. But that's pretty much it for me. So my stream schedule will be more consistent. And that's twitch.tv/Diamond Jab.
Loser.
What up? As for me, I know most of the time, if you guys want to catch me personally, You can catch me at Boozer111 for Instagram or Boozer Design for Twitter. Now, outside of this, we typically talk about video games. I'm trying to give an outlet where I talk about mostly movies, TV shows, mostly the nerdy stuff like comic book movies, comics in general. I'm going to try to do a little bit of everything where I defend things that, are getting a massive divide. So right now I'm doing some recording. I think I have to do Batman vs Superman tonight. I'm trying to do a whole DC thing to start things off because they're under fire a lot. Like, damn, the burp just got right in.
Sorry. I tried to mute it and I missed it completely. I tried to mute and I missed it completely.
We're doing it live. But yeah, so right now I got Suicide Squad recorded, Man of Steel recorded. I'm doing Batman v Superman, and then I'm going to do a video talking about the DC universe and trying to defend it in ways why I think it can work and why I think it's working a bit. Joe's shaking his head. Sorry. But either way, so again, I'm going to try to defend things. It's called Last Line. It actually is on YouTube right now. The channel's like legit. I just have to post videos. It's youtube.com/lastlineshow. I'm going to try to get it up within the next week. I'm just recording all these episodes is a little tough, and I'm not working with the best of equipment. So bear with me.
Yeah, we support you. We support you. That's it for us. So for those of you who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, gentle ladies on iTunes, thank you for listening as always, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.